everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cruising Israel. I'm your host, Natalie.
And I'm Max.
Max, I have a question for you.
Shoot, what
Have
you
you
got?
ever been on a kibbutz, besides for the couple hours that we've been on the show?
No, I'm not really one of those volunteer on the kibbutz kind of guys.
Yeah, people from all over the world come to Israel and they volunteer for a few months or a year on a kibbutz, which is really nice actually, to get that Israeli experience.
That's true, so let me guess, we're going to be checking out some kibbutzim this week?
This entire week we're going to be visiting different kibbutzim around the country. We're going to visit older kibbutzim. We're going to visit, modern ones, wealthy ones.
Cool, meet some of the people.
We're going to meet the people, we're going to learn all about a story, and we're going to find out what a kibbutz actually is and how it arose.
Cool, so where does this journey begin?
Magan Michael in northern Israel.
Northern Israel, all right, let's go.
Let's go. Since the creation of Israel, this tiny country has been thriving and defying all odds. And while today it may be amongst the most innovative countries in the world, it comes from quite humble beginnings. After Israel's independence, this new country found itself in need to manage what was then a very uncivilized land. Much of Israel was infertile and barren. This resulted in the creation of settlement groups living in a communal arrangement, which was given the Hebrew name kibbutz. So what exactly is a kibbutz? Well, for starters, it's something completely unique to Israel, with members being drawn in by the pursuit of creating a utopian lifestyle.
זה הייתה הרגשה שעושים את הדבר הכי חשוב בעולם, שאנחנו צריכים להקים מדינה לעם היהודי, וזה היה לנו כל כך מובן ולא פקפקנו, לא חשבנו שאפשר לא לעשות את זה.
At the time, participants all shared the same dream of living in a collective community based on equality. Kibbutznikim, or kibbutz members, were assigned jobs in order to staff every daily function, from working the fields to cooking in the dining halls.
It was a very difficult time when there was no buildings or no borders or no food and no money. To build a community which everybody helps each other was one of their forces.
We did not feel that we do something special, because it's like we had this task to do, and we loved it.
Today, most kibbutzim have long since parted ways with these socialist policies. However, kibbutz Magan Michael in northern Israel still honors many of the customs and traditions of this classic Israeli lifestyle, even if it means sacrificing a few personal freedoms.
If you look for privacy, you don't come to be a kibbutznik, because in the dining room or in the laundry, everybody talks, So if you did some stupid thing as a young person, people will remember it sometimes, not all the time.
I'll give you an example. I used to work in Plason, in our company. I was a big boss in this place, and one day I went to an old lady and told her something to do. She said, "Don't forget that at all times I used to put for your diapers." Okay, so
Your nappies.
The flourishing kibbutz is the largest in Israel and boasts a rich and diverse community life. It is home to about 2,000 members who celebrate all of the Jewish and national holidays together, and some relaxation is well-deserved in a society where good work ethic means everything.
Supreme value here is work. Work, work, work. If you don't work, you cannot live on this kibbutz, and you can see it in every aspect of the kibbutz, especially in the plastic factory. That's where we're doing most of our income here.
The Plason Plastic Factory is the kibbutz's chief economic asset, exporting 90% of the plastic products it manufactures. Today, it is worth $133 million. But get this, the CEO of the company makes the same amount of money as the factory workers.
This is the center of the kibbutz, and those buildings are the first buildings of the kibbutz, established in 1949, and now we're heading towards the laundry.
The laundry room. Okay.
Yeah, the laundry revolutionary system. You didn't see it anywhere else in the world.
Now, if you think kibbutz members do their own laundry, think again. Everyone's clothing gets washed together, and all they have to do is to make sure they divide their clothing into the proper section. Blankets thick and thin, rugs, even underwear. You have your own section for underwear. how do people know which clothing belongs to them?
Each family has a number attached to the garment. It can be a towel, a t-shirt, a blanket, etc. And on the other side, after they wash it, they know on which locker to put it.
So every time someone in the kibbutz buys a new article of clothing, whether it's a t-shirt or a jeans or something, they have to get this number stitched to it?
Yes, there's a special machine behind this wall with 1,000 numbers. You pick your number, you attach it, and that's how can you identify a kibbutzik, even if you see him in Tel Aviv. And they even have dog's laundry in this kibbutz. Wow. And this bucket is basically specially for dogs.
The dogs have a good life here in the kibbutz.
Happiest life in the world.
Now, although many aspects of the traditional kibbutz lifestyle are still embraced here at Magan Michael, they've done away with one of the most notorious and unconventional. The children used to live all together, separated from their parents, in an arrangement most would find quite bizarre.
Imagine 21 children, aged 6 to 12, live here, sleep in the same room together.
Wow, what a madhouse.
That was the school, that was the classroom. We also used to have a dining room.
So they would study here, sleep here,
shower here.
Everything.
Everything.
The children would be looked after by a caregiver 24/7 and would be able to visit their parents 3 hours a day. Separating a child from their parent is something that's so unheard of. I mean, it sounds a little bit cruel, but back then, I guess that's what really something that worked out for them.
Back then, it was the normal thing to do.
Yeah.
So, not many children wanted to sleep at home. And if they wanted to sleep at home, they needed the permission from the kibbutz committee.
Would you say that you had a great childhood living like this amongst so many other children?
Very much so. That was the norm, and we didn't know anything else, and we loved it. We know, at night we used to jump out of the window, walk around the kibbutz.
Would you think that these children have some issues with their parents, these relationship issues with their parents at this stage in their life?
Yes, definitely some people, until today, they have some mental issues. Not so many, fortunately.
Economically, this system made sense at the time, but in 1983 it was banned, as members voted to have children instead live with their parents as a family.
We are now at the kibbutz parking lot. It might look like any other parking lot you know.
Yes.
But if you will see on the sides of the cars, there are numbers from 1 to 150. This is the kibbutz car system.
Members don't need to buy a car. They can rent one here at any time of day for as long as they need. So someone could come here and pick any car? They have a whole selection of cars that they could choose from?
As long as the button is in the system, yeah. Each member has a button.
Okay.
But it has its code. If you want to go somewhere, you just put it through the software, through the computer, and you order your car from what time to until what time you want to return it, and you go off wherever you like.
Club cars are the main mode of transport within the kibbutz, where members drive through beautiful pathways surrounded by lush greenery with lots of flowers and palm trees. Oh, and the best part is the kibbutz is situated right on the Mediterranean coastline. Just a few-minute walk and you're at the beach. That kibbutz really was one of the most beautiful kibbutzim that I've seen so far in Israel.
Yeah, what a cool location.
Would you live like
by
that?
the ocean. You know, I think for me, I'm a guy who really likes his personal freedoms, but it really does seem like a nice lifestyle with a lot of perks.
I mean, it's relaxing. They don't have to worry about, you know, a car or food because it's ready-made for them.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Well, they definitely also had the distinction of having that business that's generating so much income for everybody.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's our next kibbutz?
Well, the next kibbutz that we're going to visit is called Kibbutz Ein Shemer, and it is one of the oldest kibbutzim in Israel.
Ah.
It was established before this country was even in the plan.
Ah, pre-independence.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting. I'm sure they got some really cool history to check out. We're going to go meet them now. Cool. Let's see.
There are about 250 kibbutzim around the country today, each with its own unique story to tell. Some of them even date back decades before Israel's independence. Kibbutz Ein Shemer is home to almost a century of history, set in the serene landscape of northern Israel amongst an abundance of nature. And today this agricultural kibbutz is home to a vibrant community of around 600 residents.
זה מקום שצורת החיים של הביחד ושל השיתוף והשוויון.
I would describe the kibbutz as an heroic failure. It's heroic because people really try to create a new way of life. I think no one ever tried it before and no one has been successful in it like the kibbutz was. Here, people choose by their own free will to be together and share everything.
אתה לא עושה רק בשביל עצמך, אתה עושה גם בשביל החברה.
It is a failure because they obviously didn't succeed. It was a success for the first generation. It maybe worked for the second generation, the third generation didn't care about it anymore.
Today there are approximately 24 socialist kibbutzim left in the entire country.
In the beginning, everybody depended on each other. That was the strength of the community. That's how it survived. Today, the family is in the center, that's the community.
At Kibbutz Ein Shemer, you can catch a glimpse into the past and see what life was like way back in a simpler time. This is exactly how I would picture a kibbutz back in those times. I mean, the big open space, the goats here on the right of us, the water tower, and the old agricultural tools. The kibbutz was established in 1927, and during these times, the first few pioneers did everything they could to help each other get by, eventually forging a culture based on sharing in almost all aspects of life. Wow, so everyone wore the same exact thing, blue and white, every single day.
Yes, that's what they had. They had everything shared, the clothes also.
So this was a typical outfit for a man.
Yes, blue shirts and blue trousers. Women wore dresses, or if they were working in the kitchen or washing the clothes, they would put an apron on and a bandana.
Am I really putting this on? If I'm putting this on, Max has to also get into character and he has to put on one of
Wear
these
clothes?
Yep. Okay, Max, your turn. What are you putting on? Max, I don't think they wore baseball caps. So now we're gonna learn what a typical day was like for a pioneer. What is the first thing we're gonna do?
I think because it's so hot, we're going to do some washing up. They took the dirty clothes that belonged to everybody, put it in the water and rub it really, really good.
The kids that come to the museum are probably so in shock that this was the way to wash clothing.
Life was very different, so everything is very new to them. They needed to grow everything by themselves, you know.
It's really hard to imagine this lifestyle, but here you guys did a good job on recreating it. How was that? Clean?
I think you did your best.
I think it's even dirtier than before. So here we have a family of goats.
3 mothers, 3 kids, and this one is going to be in labor soon. The goats demonstrate how the pioneers had to grow their own livestock so they have food.
After today, it's making me really appreciative that we live in this generation. In 2018, everything is so easy.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, they really led some hard lives, but they were always filled with positivity and with hope.
They had a goal. They wanted to have a state. They wanted to have a country for themselves.
We then hopped onto the tractors in order to see the current life on the kibbutz 90 years later. It's really such a peaceful lifestyle over here. I mean, you see kids just running around, dogs running around without leashes. Everyone's a family.
It is a family.
I see we're getting closer to the barn. I see lots of cows. I'm starting to smell it.
We've got a very big dairy barn, 450 cows. Each one of them produce around 40 liters per milk a day.
Well, that was fun. It really gives you that kibbutz experience, riding through the tractors, passing by the dairy farm.
That's our goal. Now we're heading to the tractor museum.
Wow, it's a lot of tractors in here.
Tractors and agriculture machinery. This museum tells the story of working the land of Eretz Israel.
And do they still work, or they're just here on display?
They're all working.
Which tractor here is the oldest one?
The stock.
I bet back then they thought this was really revolutionary stuff. I mean, it changed their lives, right?
They didn't have to rely on a horse or a donkey to do the work. The tractor didn't get tired.
Wow, so much history. That's
Yeah.
really cool. And I think, you know, for a sense of balance, we should maybe make the next one we visit somewhere a little more modern.
Yep, well, the next kibbutz that we're going to is in central Israel, and the countryside of this kibbutz really makes it feel like you are hours away from Tel Aviv, but it's only a 20-minute drive. It's called Kibbutz Gezer.
Wow, only 20 minutes?
Only 20 minutes.
We're gonna check that out now?
Yep, let's
do
head
it.
there. In central Israel, in between the country's two main cities, Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, you'll find Kibbutz Gezer. And although a kibbutz is something that's totally unique to Israeli society, this particular kibbutz was founded by a group of Jews who came all the way from the United States to settle in Israel. Today we're going to meet a man who left his hometown of New York City behind to help establish this community here in Kibbutz Gezer. This is David Leishman, one of the first members to arrive in the kibbutz in 1976, just 2 years after its establishment.
We were offered this piece of land, which was completely empty. It was totally abandoned. There was nobody here. We had very little. We had some cows and we had agriculture. And those were our businesses when we first came, with madrachim, with people who came from other kibbutzim to help us, to teach us how to deal with those things.
A passion for Zionism, coupled with the popularity of communal societies in the 1960s, inspired David to leave his American lifestyle behind and start fresh at the kibbutz. You come from New York. Now, coming from a big city is completely different lifestyle than what we're seeing now, kibbutz lifestyle, communal. How was that adjustment?
Well, it's about birds and flowers and trees and not necessarily just looking for the rat race, but to be in nature, to be in Eretz Yisrael, in the land of Israel, connected to the land of Israel. We are a Jewish country, and that was very important to me.
And since the members were American, they brought along some of their culture with them, including the official American pastime, baseball. The very first baseball field ever created in Israel is right here on the kibbutz and hosts both national teams as well as international visitors. Now everyone agreed to have this communal lifestyle. The houses, they all looked exactly the same. There was a dining room where everyone ate and cooked and did everything together, right?
Correct.
It was just like every other kibbutz in the country at that time.
Correct.
Kibbutzim in the 21st century aren't what they used to be. And in the year 2000, Kibbutz Gezer underwent major changes in order to fit the needs of its members and to reflect today's Israeli society.
We started working off the kibbutz to earn more money, and then you didn't know who would come into the dining room for dinner. They might have eaten out, and we needed to then finally close the dining room because we were throwing food away.
Today, most of the kibbutz members work outside of the kibbutz or have their own businesses, including David, who many consider to be the king of ice cream. A man on a mission to create the ice cream revolution here in Israel. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm getting really hot out here, baked in the sun, and an ice-cold ice cream sounds just about lovely right now.
That's why it's there.
David loves to experiment with all kinds of flavors, some of which he grows in his own backyard.
We use the lemons from the tree. We use pomegranates. These are grapes that we use for making jam for a peanut butter and jelly ice cream or a grape sorbet. This is nana. You can smell it. And this is all over Israel, but I don't like the flavor for the ice cream. So I have to grow, this is more like a spearmint and this is more like a peppermint. This is different. Smell that.
Yeah, this
It's
is way
deeper,
more, this is more
right.
strong.
That's right.
All right, well, I'm starting to crave these
Let's go
flavors.
do it.
Peanut butter and jelly ice cream sounds amazing.
Great,
Let's
but
go
you're gonna have
inside.
to work to get to that because we're gonna start with different flavors.
I love the animation of you. It looks just like you.
Well, I try to look like
The
it.
same mustache. David brings his guests into the world of ice cream, making not only the classic flavors like vanilla and chocolate, but also his own original flavors crafted with nothing but all natural quality ingredients.
I use Uzbeki raisins. Here, try one of these. They're really good. They're organic raisins and from Uzbekistan. And I put those in the rum overnight and they sort of get bigger. And also
Absorb
rum.
all of the alcohol, right?
Right, and then I put rum into the mix of the ice cream.
Oh wow, I do taste the rum.
The rum that's in the ice cream is cooked off, but the raisins,
Yeah, the raisins is
if you
what
eat
has
enough
that
of
strong
these
flavor.
raisins, they'll give you a buzz.
David has been a fan of the sweet frozen dessert for as long as he can remember. In fact, his grandfather owned an ice cream shop in Manhattan, and his bar mitzvah party even featured an ice cream stand.
Okay, this next flavor is a peanut butter and jelly. It's made with what I like to call in Hebrew tchinat botnim.
That is delicious. To David, ice cream is more than just a tasty dessert, but an entire sensory experience.
Folks, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Cruising Israel. We love having you with us.
And don't forget to catch us next time as we cruise the country and show you the best Israel has to offer.
Bye.